Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to be here with you again. And in this presentation, I'm going to talk about one of the most important countries in the Middle East, which is Saudi Arabia. The talk will be focused mainly on Saudi Arabia from different sides and from different angles. But before starting my presentation, I would like to have two issues to introduce. Number one, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Kemal Hatip. I am from Turkey. I am a pharmacist, and I have been working in sales and marketing for the last 40 years in my life. I started my career graduating from the Faculty of Pharmacy and started my business in the Gulf countries. I mean in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Oman and Bahrain. I've worked with one of the most well-known international companies. At that time, it was called Ciba-Geigy. I spent with them 17 years, and then Ciba-Geigy has merged with Sandoz Pharma company, which was another giant Swiss pharmaceutical company, and they made Novartis. I also joined Novartis for certain sometimes, where both two international companies I have spent 25 years. My career was always in sales and marketing, and this is where I preferred and I have chosen this career in my life. Then this was the one part of the coin. The other part of the coin, after that, I have joined one of the leading agents and distributors in United Arab Emirates, and I worked as a president of Pharma division, and this helped me to look at the other side of the coin, how distributors and agents are looking at the business, performing the business, doing the business. So after such a long time, I had the experience from both sides, the international and the local, in the Gulf countries and into the Middle East. After that, I have joined the consultation business due to the good knowledge, information, connections, network, and relations I do have in the Middle East. I worked for 4 years as managing director for a consulting company called Onco Pharma Middle East in Dubai. After that, I have joined KIDI, and I am now working with KIDI for the last 6 years, and I have started the 7th year now. We have made a good success in connecting companies from Middle East to the Korean pharma industry. The second issue I would like to hint about before I start my presentation about Saudi Arabia is the coronavirus. Coronavirus has come all of a sudden, has made a lot of change to the world, to Korea, to all parts of the world in general. And looking at the issue from its point of view, the thinking was that politics and politicians are controlling everything in this world. Then we have been faced by economists and economic controlling everything in this world. But unfortunately, the coronavirus proved that healthcare is controlling both of them. I think coronavirus will do a lot of changes in more focus on healthcare services and support, because it is the dynamic force for every one of us. Without good health, without being safe from virus, bacterial, other infection, we cannot perform a normal life. The whole world kept at home and unable to go outside, which means that I think, and I am sure, healthcare will have a better focus in the future because of the coronavirus, and there will be big attention by each country to the healthcare services to be strong, to be capable to face such disaster in the world in the coming future days and years to come. Something to be mentioned here, Korea has done a great job in this respect. I remember when I came from Dubai, the ranking of Korea in the infections was number 2 in the countries. China was number 1, Korea was number 2. If you look today, you will find that Korea now is number 24 in the infection incidence, which means that a great work has been done. Congratulations for Korea, congratulations for Ministry of Health, and we need to thank them for their effort and for their personnel who really did such a great success in that respect. Coming back to my presentation, Saudi Arabia is considered as one of the GCC countries. And when we talk about Saudi Arabia, it is the biggest country in the GCC. GCC countries is 6 countries in the Gulf region. It is called Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman. These 6 countries are having a special cooperation between them, and they call themselves GCC countries, Gulf Cooperative Council countries. Saudi Arabia being the biggest country, actually we have to pay an attention to it. It's the biggest economy even in the Middle East, so it is a priority country for any business. And if we talk about healthcare services, I think the focus is in Middle East is on Saudi Arabia, and attention should be given. So my talk is going to be about Saudi Arabia reform and change. Saudi Arabia is passing through some reforms and changes in their status and situation, and healthcare opportunity and challenges as a result of this change which is happening. In the first of my presentation, this is the flag of Saudi Arabia, and this is the positioning of Saudi Arabia related to the world. It looks to be in the center of the world. My presentation is going to have the following topics. If we look at that, I will discuss and talk about facts about Saudi Arabia. We need to know why it is important, why it is really a focused country, reforms and changes in the kingdom, the Vision 2030 overview, the national transformation program that has been conducted by the government there to help improve the country's status and level. And then we will look at Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and other GCC countries in comparison to market size, looking at the business of the pharma from 2015 to 2019, and also having one full picture for the pharma industry in the kingdom. This is part of our concern. And then healthcare opportunities and challenges in Saudi Arabia, summary slide for opportunities for Korean pharma industry, for investing, for cooperation, for support, and key important and needful websites at Korea, which could be really useful for the Korean pharma companies. If we look at the map, this is the Saudi Arabia. It is part of the Middle East. The blue bounded countries are the Middle East as identified internationally. Saudi Arabia is in the middle. If you look at it, it's also close to Africa, separated by Africa by a Red Sea only. So it has got a strategic positioning. Now, let's see why we focus on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a major oil producing country in the world. It provides 10 million barrels a day, which makes 13% of the world production of oil, and that's big. Saudi Arabia, one of the largest proven crude oil petroleum reserve country. They have a reserve of oil 260 billion barrel, and this is 18% to 20% of the reserve of the world. This is really big, super. One of the large reserve countries of natural gas in the Persian Gulf, over 7 trillion cubic feet. This is another energy resource, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is ranking 6 in solar energy production among the world. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia plans $100 billion program dollars of nuclear power using 12 power plants starting from 2020 to 2032, and Korea will be participating in one of them. The Saudi economy is one of the top 20 economies in the world. It is considered a one country of the G20, and it is dependent on the oil, and it is considered number 17 in the world in richness. Saudi pharma market is expected to reach $10 billion in 2025, which is considered really a strong pharma market. If you look at the energy, Saudi is among the leaders in the world in the energy, and this is what gives it its status, and this what gives it its ability financially to be strong for investment, for work to be done there. There is changes happening in Saudi Arabia. Why this reform is happening and why the change is happening? I think all of you got to know that there is a low oil price, and as we said, Saudi Arabia is dependent on the energy. There is nothing else. So what happened is that by the reduction of the oil prices, the income for the government has been reduced, the spending has been affected, and here is a problem. If they don't diversify their resources using other chances to provide income to the country, then they will be only dependent on the oil, and they will face problems in the future as being now there. The second thing is that there is a new generation of leadership. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is a young person. He's 35 years old, 36 years old. The new generation leadership has got a new style, a new look, a new vision, which is different than the old style of management and the old style of monarchy management. And that has brought the change also, and that was going to bring the change also, which is really needed there. Then the third point is that post-oil age, they start looking what we are going to do after the oil. The energy should not be the number one. We have to look for other chances. As a result, there will be a social contract which will have to follow from traditional and religious systems to a normal country that lives a normal life. As you know, Saudi Arabia was too much stick to the traditional things, to the religious terms. But the Crown Prince now is trying to move it as a normal country actually. That is going to open a lot of opportunities into the country and will have diversified changes there. Actually, look in Saudi Arabia. For women, it was difficult. It was not allowed to drive a car. It's not a religious problem. It was a traditional issue. Woman is not allowed to drive. If they find a woman driving, they will take her to the jail. But now they are open. The woman is allowed to drive, is allowed to have her children and go and do. So that's what we mean by normal life. Coming over certain traditional religious things that hinder a lot of change, advancement into the country. So to do the change, actually the kingdom has to go through a plan that can put it as bright, nice, great place to live, to invest, and to have an opportunity. There was a proposal by the Crown Prince called the Vision 2030, whereby he was trying to put the country on the way to be competitive among the countries in the world. Saudi Arabia Vision 2030 promises to develop Saudi Arabia as a center for business, trade, logistics, and tourism. It was not that in Saudi Arabia, not at all. These are 4 different opportunities are there gonna be open. It will help reduce the country economy reliance on oil and then the state. because the state is producing the oil, the state is spending the money, so everything is depending on the state itself. By boosting investment into the private sector and generate a non-oil growth and development, and this will help to open up chances and opportunities for Saudis to invest and work. And the opportunity now, as you got to know, the mega city of Neom, which will be costing as a budget now for developing it $500 billion. This is going to be a city, a mega city, which will include Jordan and Egypt on the other side. That will create business, trade, logistics, tourism, computer science, all other things. The opportunity is really big. They already started the mega city Neom there now in Tabuk. The other topic is that create a new bright image for Saudi Arabia internally and also internationally. Now, coming back to the situation when we were talking about Saudi Arabia tradition and religion, it was a bit difficult to come as a foreigner and live there and work. Now, I think throughout these changes, they are going to create a bright image that will help investors, people, expert people to come and work and find the opportunity and have the chance in the city itself. Vision 2030 implies degree of social liberalization, enables presence and growth of entertainment and tourism industry. It was not existing, as well as extensive reform to education system. Let me tell you, gentlemen, there was no one cinema in Saudi Arabia. Now there is a lot of cinemas and people can go and enjoy a lot of films and international films in the Saudi cinemas now. The other Vision 2030 is improve rules and regulations, and that is to attract investment from other parts of the world. And this is what National Transformation Program has made in 2020 now. So that's an overview of the Vision 2030 as an overview. If I would like to talk now in more concise to the pharma industry, what is concerning the government, Saudi government, is the pharma and the biotechnology, and that's what's concerned us also. An impactful strategic industrial sector, because pharma means medicine, medicine means treatment for patients. And then there is certain products, if I look at them, it's a strategic industry. There should be a look at it and focus on it. So within the Vision 2030, there is a focus on developing the healthcare industry in the kingdom. This, to reach to the 2030, there was many programs put by the government. And among them into the pharma and biotechnology was the National Transformation Program, which is called NTP. And this started in 2015-16, and it's going to end this year. And if you are in Saudi Arabia, you would see that there is a difference and change in everything. There is a difference and change in everything, especially in the field of the pharma and pharma industry. The National Transformation Program includes many organizations, ministries like Ministry of Health, Saudi FDA, Saudi Health Council, Ministry of Investment, GCC Health Council, Ministry of Industry, Saudi Customs, and King Abdullah Economic City. These are too many different organizations, institutes, ministries that everyone was working by itself. But the National Transformation Program has certain objective over all those different ministries. Number one, government harmony. It means create a prototype, and this is a prototype of government agencies working together in one target and one objective. Here we can put what is called efficiency and effectiveness. Then we go to national security to ensure self-sufficiency and sustainability of drugs in the country. This is very important. You and the country should not face a problem in vaccines or in biotechnology product or in blood plasma product. This is strategic product. If there is a deficiency, then we are in big problem. The other thing is technology transfer to increase local content and add value of the kingdom, because this is high value technology industries. Then by this, quality jobs, which means quality jobs are created and opened for Saudis and other expatriates who would come and work in the kingdom. Also increase local manufacturing from 20% to 40% by enhancing local manufacturing environment and thus promoting foreign direct investment flow to the country. And this is what many international companies like Pfizer, like Johnson & Johnson, like GSK are now investing in opening manufacturing facilities in Saudi Arabia in joint venture with the Saudi companies. So this is going to work together, elevating the country, creating confidence into the country, helping the country to reach to a level that will be attractive for investment, for working, for opening any opportunity there. One of the things that has been achieved, Saudi registration system is now electronic one. And to the first time, I would like to tell you that the system is applied. Everything now is going electronically. You apply for an appointment through the system. You get your certificate of registration by the system. You get questions by the system. You will answer the questions by the system. It made the registration going in an efficient, effective way. And I think now there is a lot of improvement can be seen into the registration process with the Saudi Arabia. And recently in Korea, we have succeeded in 1 year to finalize agent and registration and the product for one company in Korea. The efficiency of the system is going very well and is doing very well. And I would like to invite the Korean pharma industry and medical devices to really focus on Saudi. The idea of difficulty in registration, problem in registration, the long time of registration is now in the past. Now the system more efficient and effective in managing the registration process and regulatory issues in the country. Now let's go to the GCC pharmaceutical market size. And this is one of the priorities. If I want to start a business in Middle East, I really focus on GCC country. It is countries that are capable, able, a good margin of profit, and the chances are open there still, even for generic companies. The table here shows 2015 up till last year, 2019. A look at Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, number one, we find that the market is stagnant because of the turbulence and the instability in the region and the war in Yemen. This led to the situation be stagnant, but still the market is $7.5 billion. United Arab Emirates is showing a growth and is having a 5%. Kuwait is showing a growth 1%. Oman is stagnant. Qatar is showing a good progress. Bahrain is not showing a growth. In general, the total GCC countries is an attractive market for investment, and totally it is $13.5 billion, a place attractive for business. To put the issue in more visible way, I put it in a graph form, which could show you that Saudi Arabia represents 55% from the total GCC countries. That's why I said if Korean companies are interested, the focus number one should be on Saudi Arabia. If we look on the other side, we would see that United Arab Emirates also represent a big share, where United Arab Emirates and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia represent 80% of the GCC countries. So my recommendation, if we are going to look for the opportunity, we should look for Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and this will made me entering 80% of the market. The rest will follow after that. So this is my recommendation, and these are big countries, dynamic countries, business-oriented countries in the same time. This is I tried to put one picture for the Saudi pharma manufacturing facility. The aim of putting this slide to you to show you that the manufacturing facility in Saudi Arabia are increasing. And I think within 5 to 7 years, from a total of 40, you will see a total of 65 to 70 companies are going to be there. The first column is the new projects that are going to happen, and these are ranging between investment, Saudi investment, United Arab investment, Indian investment, Lebanese investment, joint venture investment between Saudi and Canada and Saudi and Denmark in vaccine businesses. The other line is the generic companies in Saudi Arabia. And the API is one only manufacturing facility is there. 2 manufacturing facilities are there only. The opportunity is there. And the biotechnology in Saudi Arabia, still a chance to invest. There is only 2 manufacturing facilities, Arab Bio and Zedra, and there is 2 vaccine manufacturing facility, one by joint venture with Canadian company and the other is with joint venture with Danish company, and biotechnology, vaccine and biotechnology together. This look to you and to me and to everyone shows that the market is a generic market and there is an opportunity for biotechnology, injectable and other special pharmaceutical dosage forms. The chance is there and the opportunity is there, and this is what the Saudi government is looking and willing to support in the same time. Healthcare opportunity and challenges in Saudi Arabia. In summary, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, with its population estimated approximately 32 million, is the largest country in the GCC. Under Vision 2030, country is going through fundamental structural change, as we mentioned, in all sectors, including healthcare, which is really of concern to us. The healthcare sector in the kingdom is undergoing evolution on the back of rapid advancement in technology, research, and development in line of global and also regional trend, which is really going so fast nowadays. And this is another opportunity, I think so. Recent trend and industry dynamics requires operators, technicians in the healthcare sector to cope with the changes and make it happen. So, if we look at the opportunities, we will see that regarding the population, it is said that normally Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has estimated population, as mentioned, 32.5 million, and this is the population estimated in 2018, which is expected to double, reaching 77.2 million in 2050, growing at 2.62% per annum. A more conservative scenario by the World Bank suggests a growth by 1.02%, where population would still reach 45.1 million by 2050. This increase in population is expected to fuel the demand for healthcare services in the kingdom, if on average we will be doubling, the population will be doubled, this is gonna fuel the demand. Changing population profile. The population pyramids in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has significantly changed between 1980 and 2015, and it will further change by 2050. This will have a significant impact on healthcare demand in terms of quality, quantity, and type of healthcare that is needed to be given and the facilities that needs to be established. Like an increase in life expectancy will create demand on long-term care, which means that facility focusing on geriatric related care, rehabilitation, and home health care services. They have, and there should be a planning to look at this issue in that direction for the future. Lifestyle diseases. Analyzing the demographic trend, then it is estimated that Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's population will change to generation X, Y, and Z. This shift would impact disease pattern and in turn type of healthcare services required to treat these type of diseases, which sometimes called diseases of civilization, like diabetes, obesity, and hypertension. A look at the GCC countries and in Saudi Arabia, the incidence of these diseases are really a bit high. Look at the diabetes, the incidence is around 18%, obesity 35%, hypertension is 23%, which means that this is a problem and this needs a treatment, and this needs a special management. Healthcare opportunities also to continue. The other term is that demand gap for beds and hospitals. As a result of that, there will be a lot of healthcare infrastructure is needed, and in the existing time, if we look at the graph, the first graph is the bed per 1,000 patient. Comparing Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf countries to the international standard, we notice that still there is a big gap and the number needs to be increased. Also, in case of the physician, per 1,000 patient, the number of the international level is far beyond to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the other GCC country, which will create a chance for the need for hospital bed, doctors, nurses in this respect. Healthcare opportunities to continue, private sector participation. This is something new in Saudi Arabia, as highlighted in the National Transformation Program and the privatization plan in 2017. The private sector has a leading role in the development and plans of the private sector. No more depending on the government to do full health services for the people there. There should be the participation of the private sector and the involvement of the private sector. The involvement of the private sector will be an opportunity for investment at the healthcare sector in all directions. Healthcare medical insurance has been implemented for all people on the kingdom, and establishing hospital medical centers are on action. Establishing pharma manufacturing facility opportunity is open. They open a biotechnology cluster. The government has made this in order to support any investment in the field of the biotechnology and strategic products to the country. The development of Neom City as a mega city with $500 billion opened a great opportunity for investment for healthcare sector. The healthcare challenges now in Saudi Arabia, we got to have a good opportunities. There is a certain challenges there. The funding option, it is a key challenging obstacle facing the healthcare investment, which are a long-term investment. Usually healthcare takes long time to start, to achieve the break even and then make a profit. Usually, financial institutions are always looking for a short-term investments. Also, banks there are servicing known market participants with proven track record. This is the trend there, which I think it will be changed, but it will take its time to make that change. International or regional operator contemplating entry to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia market often struggle to secure project finance unless there is resources to alternative cash flow. Government has developed what's called Saudi Industrial Development Fund, which is called SIDF. It is a fund which will support strategic industries and projects into the country. That's a great help for the government, where a finance of the project can be made 75%, payment period 15 years, grace period 2 years, which are really very great terms for supporting and overcoming the fund option problem. High capital cost, the investment opportunity in Saudi Arabia, not being a small country, it's a big diversified country, so it needs a lot of infrastructure from storage, people, working, transportation. So the investment opportunity in Saudi Arabia, and especially in the private sector, are very attractive but needs a high capital cost. Difficulties in attracting quality educated people to work there for the life quality is a bit problem. There is no free zone companies or free trade area concept there. Pharmaceutical regulation and guidelines are strict and more numerous at Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which stick to the international levels. It is a generic pharma industry mainly and lacking strategic product manufacturing like biotechnology and vaccines. A summary by the end to show the certain points, to me, giving the opportunities in the Saudi market. Number one is leveraging on Saudi Arabia's mass chemical base. There is an opportunity for reliable investment in different lines of pharma business. Another thing is that master planning for pharma and biotech clusters. Research and development cooperation. It's an opportunity there for Korean companies, for Korean government to Saudi government. Also, private sector tech transfer of innovative drug and high quality biopharma product. Another big opportunity. Still, it's at the beginning of its stage, and it is really needed and welcomed and supported by the government. Strategic products which are under focus of the Saudi government is plasma collection, infrastructure, and fractionation, and it's a top priority there. Vaccines production facilities are really needed and supported also by supported industry by the government. Clinical trial infrastructure and command center collaboration can be helpful between Korea and Saudi Arabia. Pharma and biotech vocational and postgraduate training can be a good opportunity to create the chance. The positioning of Saudi Arabia in Middle East and Africa market makes it a very attractive for business, for industry, for opportunity, for a joint venture in the same time. At the end, I have brought some important websites for the Korean pharma companies to look at them, because these are going to give them a guidelines from the Saudi government to the pharma and biotechnology industry in the same time. So please download the industrial guide, www.icgovernment.saudi Arabia, then go to pharmaceutical and biotechnology cluster, then look for the opportunities. 3 opportunities are there. Biologics and biosimilars, vaccine formulation, sterile injectables. Then go to see the success stories in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You can see them, you can look at them, you can have an opportunity. If you want to invest, you can have the chance to connect with the government, and the government will help you to connect with others. You can connect with us with KIDI. We are here employed by KIDI to help the Korean pharma industry also to connect with the Middle East countries, not only for Saudi Arabia. We can do that for Saudi Arabia, we can do it for Jordan, we can do it for United Arab Emirates, we can do it for Turkey, for every country in the Middle East. Our hand is extended to the Korean pharma industry to help them. And for the last 6 years, we have been here. Many successful stories has been made and achieved by KIDI in providing information, making connections, appointing agent and distributor for the Korean pharma companies in these countries. The other website I would like you also, if there is a chance to look at it, in case of investment, is Saudi Industrial Development Fund, which is called SDIF. The website is there, and it is a fund for support for industrial projects at the kingdom, which mainly focus on strategic products like the biotechnology manufacturing facility. At the end of my presentation, I would like to thank you, Kamsahamnida, and I wish to you all the success. And this is a view at night from the capital of Saudi Arabia, which is Al Riyadh, for you to look at. Thank you very much. Thank you.